Hello, everyone, wherever you are in the cosmos, universe, Earth, planet, whatever you're doing. We welcome you. Me as your host, Lindsey Elocin Hooper. Welcome you to World Ascension Conference. I am so honored to have the amazing Laurie McDonald here with me. Just her being on the screen just soothes my entire being. She is amazing. She has she's done a lot of work throughout the years. She's a very talented hypnotherapist, has a hypnotherapy clinic. She works with abductees, etc. She also helps people in her clinic, you know, really kind of center and balance their lives when they're going through so many different things. And she was also recently vetted and sought after for a documentary that will be airing on the Discovery Channel. I think in December, right, Lori?
I think so.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So what we're going to be speaking on today, and if, this is something that I think is a very important subject about, when you're going through this ascension process. Essentially, everyone's going through an ascension process because ascension means just really going to that next level, albeit physical dissolution into the spirit, or just all kinds of things. And Lori's really going to cover a lot of like essential tips for how to handle this newfound consciousness, how to really keep your emotions in check, balance your spirituality with your mind, body, and soul, really. So yeah, Lori, I just want to give you the floor. Precisely.
Frequencies that will increase our personal frequency. So ascension, yeah, is certainly a physical thing, and so you can expect some physical changes in the body. Also, it is a spiritual because although we are coming light,
Hmm. Right.
move into this well-grounded understanding that even though all of this emotional energy will be coming at us, the perfect opportunity to face a few facts about ourselves that one, we are
Right.
that we take in looking at it. It seems to me a lot of people are being put through a little bit of trauma. I think it eventually wakes them up quicker. It shakes them up, and they have
Hmm.
to begin to look at things. I think the whole ADHD thing and dyslexic thing helps those kids not just slip into the mainstream
Right.
and they start to exert their individuality.
Precisely. And they will always pertain. And I know for a fact my son has ADHD, and I mean he's always been one, very individualistic, very creative, etc. But even though it's been kind of a painful process for his stepmom, his father, and myself, as far as having to go to the doctor and make sure he's not on a stimulant medication or whatever, just so literally he can get through school, unless, we as parents want to be arrested, you know. So, but I found that he is, it does, like you said, it does give him that sense of, you know, I'm special. Like, it might not be the attention that he necessarily wants, in a sense, but he knows that he is taken care of, and he will know, especially with a mother like me, that he's got a huge purpose here, you know?
Sure, I mean, it really helps these kids eventually feel that it's okay to be part of the big picture,
Right.
that they don't have to fit into the society in a way that they can be individualistic. That's actually quite important. So,
Yeah, it makes the world go round.
absolutely, but all of these experiences, no matter what the trauma, tend to be catalysts for learning. But what happens is now that our emotional body and our physical body has all of these different traumatic emotional wounds,
Right.
and these wounds are having to they're getting places of tension.
Right.
In order for us to be able to completely the best that we can balance all of the emotional energy that's been injected to us through our lives.
Yeah, and like you were speaking earlier, I think one of the first initiations of that is self-love. The things that society tells you you are flawed for, and etc. Instead of criticizing yourself, embrace that individuality. Don't self-medicate yourself to numb yourself from these things. Um, Choose any kind of substance you put into your body wisely, and be in control of that substance, albeit food, alcohol, or whatever it will be. Even money, even with finances, anything that comes in to the physical will manifest in the spiritual.
Well, right, and it's how we view it. I mean, because what happens is not only do we have blocks in certain areas, but then we gain attachment.
Exactly.
If you're insecure as a child, perhaps as an adult, you're motivated for security, and whether that's through money or relationship or whatever your path is, there's a balance that needs to be taken place. So, very important to have balance that emotional energy so that we can alleviate it. When we alleviate it, it's much easier to have a lighter etheric energy. We begin to think more clearly and we begin to think more altruistically. But people do need to be aware of a few things, and this is a planet of duality. There's night, there's day, there's good, there's evil, masculine, feminine. It's duality all the way down the line. So yes, there are things that are inside of us that aren't beautiful and all shiny. And yes, we're going to have negative thoughts. No, just try to think positive. Negative thoughts come, but negative thoughts go.
Exactly.
You know,
We have to embrace the yin and the yang, because we have to remember that light came from darkness, so they say, and etc. So we do. It's like we're never going to heal as a society if we don't embrace these crappy dark issues. Even these things coming on the news, albeit false flags, whatever. If they are false flags, if they aren't, either way, it's at least triggering our heart strings and saying, hey, something needs to change. Either they're lying to us or this really happened, and I can't believe that we're living in a world like this. So let's address it, and let's.
yeah, then we're looking at manipulation. If
Right.
emotional response. That type of emotional and human is huge.
Yeah.
That cumulative mass emotional energy can be manipulated, it can be directed. And so it also gives them an idea of how to manage the society,
right.
what we're going to respond to, or what the emotional triggers are. So we have to be really careful that we don't allow them to manipulate us that way. What are they doing with this, emotional energy?
Yeah.
So, for some entities, energy, our emotional energy is fuel to them. So there are always multiple layers that we have to look at. But through this ascension process, as we're developing into the human that we can be, the human potential allowing us to unfold in areas where we thought we were limited, we begin to do that when we push past those old vague and horrible emotions. We're going to let them go. And really, why not just let them go?
Right.
Past only lives in the mind. We fuel it with our thought. We bring it back to bring us a feeling.
Right.
That feeling isn't serving our highest purpose, then we need to release it.
Exactly.
And that's how we heal.
Right.
But we're in control.
Exactly. Yeah. I totally agree. We do have to be careful with what we believe. And, even on Facebook, it's like, for example, and I spoke about this yesterday, this whole election thing. Oh, God bless it. It's like I saw all of my friends who immediately call, these mainstream media things like false flags, um, totally, posting, oh, Hillary's cleared by the FBI. How do you know there's no proof, you know?
Yeah, he didn't say that she was cleared.
Right.
He said that she was quite irresponsible and that she should have known better.
Right.
Yes, they didn't say, what they said she did was wrong, but didn't warrant criminal charges. That doesn't give her a clean.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ethics, that's for sure. What it proved was that she was a liar. That in fact some of the emails that she deleted were classified when she received them. She specifically and distinctly said none that she received were classified when she received them or deleted them.
Right.
So she was kind of busted, but it didn't warrant criminal charges. But I'll tell you one thing: if you or I did it, it should have.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yes. I mean, yes.
And so there you have it. That's our politics right now. Sad.
Right.
And Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are distant cousins.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, all of the presidents. It's just so crazy that a 12-year-old, for God's sakes, in what was it, 2013, 2012, did the project and showed that all of the presidents were related. Like, come on, people! It's like, wake up! There's so much information out there, and I just recently made a post. Chemtrails are no longer a conspiracy. They have the um, a CIA or whatever government official on there saying for weather modification and geoengineering. Like he's saying it right there, guys. And you made that post about Mary Magdalene, and how the church has now vetted her or deemed her a saint. It's
Basically an apostle.
Exactly.
Equivalent to the apostles. Yeah, and they've known all along, but what they're going to find out is that not only did she provide most of the lessons to Jesus that
Right.
he taught,
Right.
that, she was the wisdom.
Exactly.
She brought the divine feminine energy, and he spoke it.
Exactly.
The big practice at the time was called Gnosticism. And the Gnostics were equal, allowing women to teach.
Right.
They really promoted a very individualistic relationship with God. They didn't create any rules. There was no right or wrong. There was only the learning process.
Exactly.
They made it a beautiful, natural experience. And so obviously that has been
right, or yeah, or hidden and they sailed away together or what have you and carried on the bloodline.
Had went to India and for 5 years
And then maybe France.
family.
Yeah. So there's a lot of speculation. There's also, the Magdalenes actually showed me that there were two kind of separate timelines that happened. One where Christ was crucified, and one where and Judas was in his place, and then the one where he fled, and the one we have been led to believe in is, the first. And that all goes back to doing your research and really, all these people. I kind of want to address this, and by speaking of timelines, when I say that, if you believe anything that Einstein says, and you believe that his theory of relativity and gravity was just proven, um, and you still believe that what we're talking about is a bunch of like hoorah or whatever, I will have you know that these Einstein shirts that you're walking around wearing, he proved, or the scientists have just proved, his theory is correct, that there are infinite timelines and universe, etc. They're just
Universes.
right,
And
different universes. Yeah.
dimensions. So that, right, absolutely. It's kind of like the mirror effect. You look into a mirror, you can see multiple images of yourself. And the human entity can be like that. Or think of it this way. Uh, quiet pond of water where a large stone is dropped right in the middle. Each frequency, each wave as it moves up is its own frequency.
Exactly.
Its own bandwidth. It's moving at its own
Yeah,
speed.
and Einstein spoke of that. He didn't only study physics, he got into the quantum physics and the metaphysical. And that's what we have to understand, that, if you like Einstein or think he's the smart genius, well, you should really look at his research. Like really. So,
He was very efficient. I like that. He wore the same suit, and 7 days a week, and he had 7 of them hanging in his closet because he thought it was such a waste of time to look for something to wear.
right.
So quite an independent thinker.
Exactly. So I know we got off track a little bit, but let's get back. Let's get back onto this Ascension thing and how to really, we just love talking. I mean, it's like when we come together, there's just like so much knowledge, but we love sharing, so it's okay. We just kind of go in with the flow. But yeah, with this whole Ascension thing, a lot of people get carried away, and one thing that I want to say, and I think we've all through this process maybe have been tempted to fall into this. I want to say, be careful with this process and with your spirituality, because it does bring about such self-love and individuality that sometimes we want to put, just be careful that you don't um, use spirituality as a badge for your ego. You know, be careful of that.
Right. The ego has a purpose, it certainly, but it's not something like what you're saying. Spirituality is a quiet power. It's not one that you have to closely survive.
Right.
Because it's something that's continuously unfolding. It's often different for everyone. There are many commonalities in the struggle, and we do our best to learn from it. And that's what it's all about. It's all about learning. And while we're in the third dimension, time is slow here.
Right.
Very slow. Like we were saying, the past only lives in the mind. There is no future yet. Our really, what's real for us is in this moment.
Right.
The majority of our conscious awareness is now. So this is important. This is the moment is important. So we have to be able to still the mind, quiet the emotions enough throughout the day that we can allow what's happening to happen. If we're continuously rushing the mind and projecting, I need to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, all of these things you see are external. They're outside of ourselves, and they take away from our ability of self-development and self-understanding. We need to spend the time meditating. Meditation is the only way, I believe, to bring peace.
Yeah, because I totally agree with that. I think it's very related. When you're meditating, it's you and source, nothing else.
Right.
In this time, you spend time in solidarity, and we as a culture need to get comfortable with that. We need to understand that everything you need is within. Yes, no man is an island. Yes, we're all working together on this. But in the end, it's you and source.
Right. Well, we have to be comfortable in our own skin.
Exactly. And that unconditional love, that's how we will learn to really unconditionally love ourselves, is being comfortable alone. That's
Yeah, just if we can quiet the mind and meditate for a while every day. We're never masters at meditation. It's always best to keep the frame of mind that you're just practicing, okay? Practicing meditation. I've been practicing almost 36 years.
right.
And it just, one of the ways that it helps calm us is it does increase the gamma wave in the brain.
Hmm.
This allows us to open through what might be considered the psychic area. It allows us to move past our physical limitations so that we can use our consciousness outside of ourselves. But it starts with being inside.
Within, yes,
Yeah.
it starts from within. And if we
You have
want to
to
heal
calm
ourselves,
the mind and body. And that's what we're learning right now. We're learning how to control our emotions, which are emotions, energy and motion.
hmm
And when we get that nice balance, we begin to reflect on ourselves and accept the things that are imperfect because we're perfectly imperfect as we should be.
right.
But it's all a process. It's a beautiful, exciting, unfolding time. And when we have that right energy about it, we can be inspired, really. What a great time to live in. I used to think that it was such a wonderful time for my grandmother because she was born and the only transportation was, horse and carriage. And then after she saw cars and trains and airplanes, and then finally, a rocket in space, and then a man on the moon, and that was her limit. She never saw a rover go to Mars or anything like that. She hasn't seen new planets be entered into our solar system. She died thinking there was 9 planets.
Right.
Okay? So we're living in a time where everything is changing rapidly.
Yeah, there's about to be, it's like when I spoke to Patty Greer earlier, we were speaking of, everything we've been taught is about to be, humans are in for a shock. Well, some of them. That literally our history books are going to have to be rewritten. There's going to be a new education system come about. There's going to be a change. This is a huge pivotal moment in history. And that's when, you go back to meditation, and really we must understand that there is one positive timeline, and that we can actually harness and bring that positive timeline to fruition and manifest it here on earth by simply raising our consciousness and our vibration. And the key is to focus on love, on that unconditional love for thyself, thy neighbor, breaking barriers of separation, unity consciousness, and co-creation. And
Right?
and
We know that cardio electromagnetic energy is the strongest energy in the universe, and that comes from our heart.
right,
Another thing that we're in control of. All along, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. It's not, the metaphor for what it is because the answers are always with us.
right,
No matter where we go, the answers are within us.
exactly,
We just need to calm the mind and body and look for them. So that's the point right now is calming the mind and body and going through sort of that self-acceptance, forgiveness. There's a whole, before we get to that major self-love, there's some emotional baggage to leave behind, some personal acceptance, and some forgiveness to do, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, whatever
right,
it takes, right? So
exactly.
whatever it takes, why not give it a try?
exactly. That's the thing I always say. What is it going to hurt to change your view a little bit and kind of step away from the TV? Or, I find this so interesting that people, I see, not speaking of like personally knowing them, which I'm not going to say I do or don't, but, um, you know, I see a lot of people sometimes, and just in society in general, they call going to church a cult, they call spirituality of any form a cult, and this and that. But I really want to take a stance back to say, let me remind you that, say that you hang out with, like, you have this really close knit group of friends of like 10 to 15 people, okay? And that's it. And you meet up every Sunday night to watch the football game or grill out or this or that. Let's remember that that is also a form of cult because you're not allowing anyone else in. It's like you're too good. And then when someone new comes into the circle, albeit someone's new boyfriend or girlfriend, you're looking at them and you're judging them, and then you're talking behind their back. Well, I don't know how good she is. She has tattoos, or I heard this about her. Things like that. That is the same thing a church does. And that's the thing about, you know like with World Ascension Conference, we don't wear a mask. We're not gurus. We encourage people to do their own research. We want to give everyone a chance to tell their story. We want to give everyone a chance. We want to come together. We want to co-create. We want to break the barriers of separation. We want to say, hey, you know what? So what? This person did this to you. You have to understand that you allowed that to happen to yourself, whether you were in the wrong, which I don't believe there's necessarily right or wrong, whether you were in the wrong or they were in the wrong, whatever. Just leave it behind and let's move forward and let's evolve as a species, because we are not going to see any kind of change in the world if we don't change from within.
Right, and I think that's what happens when we move into that true self-acceptance. Then we don't have to do what you were just saying. We don't have to judge anybody else because we don't have feelings of being superior
Right.
or inferior.
Right.
That we can accept all of the difference in others and still feel quite confident with who we are without feeling the need to compete or belittle or beat somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we're in that kind of confident, calm energy,
there's no need to compete.
Well, there isn't any need to compete. And when we get to that place as a society, then you see there's really no need to fight either.
Precisely.
There's no need to have wars. And this is when we really need to look at raising sons and not soldiers.
Right.
We teach our sons how to be a good man, how to be a human, a light-embodied entity. Teach them their role on the planet. Right now, the matriarch is rising as the patriarch subsides, and it's time for us to become more empowered, not only as people, but especially as women.
Exactly.
We have a huge role right now, and we want to do it in a way that, like I said, is balanced.
Balanced, exactly. That's key because we have lost a lot in society, especially when the patriarch took over. Back in the old days or ancient times, the women held their balance of masculine and femininity, and so did the males. There were so many cultures that held that together. Like, it's very important that we raise our sons to balance their masculinity and their nurturing, just like a woman. And women need to learn how to. Some women need to learn how to be more graceful and a little bit more masculine, or that balance. We can't be too or loving or this or that. It's all about that yin and the yang. We must, and that's something I'm working on.
People would be surprised at the amount of personal inner strength that they have in what we can do when we break out of defined roles. Now, not that I don't think that there are specific duties within the role.
Right.
Woman or carrier of man, we are the portal of the humanity. And so with that, there's a great responsibility.
Right.
As teachers and speakers.
Yeah.
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 To people. So
yeah.
allowing them to see that it's time now
Right.
So we need to be very careful of what we allow to move into our belief system. Because ultimately, it is up to us. We are magnificent beings and wonderful creators. We have the ability to manifest. The word man in the human is from the word manifest, which is the embodied, to become physical. And man-made or manufactured, a human, a light embodied entity, is a very, very powerful being. It's just the description of the type of entity that we are. When we know what we are, we begin to see what our purpose is. Our
Precisely.
purpose is to move, really, we're going back home, in a sense. In the fifth dimension, I've been privileged, I guess, is the right way to say it, that I've glimpsed it, I've seen a new world, a magnificent place, and it seemed that there was a lower, a middle, and a higher fifth dimension, and that the beings in the higher fifth were so illuminated, so bright, that they almost had to robe or cover their energy because it was so penetrating, at least to me, because I can only take in so much. But it was what we have the ability to be. In our full light, illuminated energy, we don't really need a body. The body is beautiful, but the body plays a role. Each one of our senses, eyes, nose, and mouth, and hand, are all just antennas to interpret the environment so that we see our environment, touch, taste, feel it, we're grounded in it. A human consciousness resides in the body. We use the body, the physical body, to identify things in the third dimension. And when we're no longer in the third dimension, we don't always require a physical body. And then we are just you.
Exactly.
Human. So we do move through the ability. Our consciousness can reside both inside and outside of us. It transcends both space and time. We have the ability to do this. Back when I was struggling with some of my meditation, every time I went to meditate, I would pop out of my body. And it would be as if there were a mirror in front of me, and I could see myself, and I would look, and I didn't know where to go. What was I supposed to do? I'm out of my body. What do I do now?
How do you get back in? Yeah.
So that part wasn't so hard. That
Right.
comes with the shock of your
Yeah.
environment.
Well, some people don't know how to get back in, because I've heard this happening to people. And even with while they sleep, some people sometimes don't find their way back in,
Well,
or they just get scared. Let's just say they might find their, but it just kind of shocks them.
right. There are people that believe there's sort of an etheric or silver God there before sort of that holds the energy of the spirit and the physical. It's kind of like a vortex.
Exactly. Yes. That's. I mean, yeah.
And so I would continuously come out. And so one night I was dreaming that I was in this amazing Buddhist temple. And it had these iron gates that swang open. There was a huge Buddha there. And I was familiar with everybody. I remember bringing them a gift. But the next morning, I just felt compelled to drive around in my car. And then on the outside of town here in Sacramento, all of a sudden I'm pulled into this temple.
Right.
And sure enough, two female monks came to the gate, and they said, "How did you know about us?" I said, "I dreamed you." And they swang open the gate, and as I came through, they started to point at my hair, and he told me later in English that I was wearing my hair like an initiate, and they welcomed me into this temple. I went back almost daily for 5 years, participated in meditation marathons. I would go up for 18 hours at a time. The ability to control your mind for that long was very beneficial. It allowed me to understand. In fact, the Buddhist monks taught me more about other worlds and extraterrestrials than I've learned from any experiencer group that I ran or any survey from free or any other organization.
Right.
I learned from
Precisely. I mean, we are, and that's another thing, I kind of want to address. And I really feel it's, a lot of people feel right now that they're not doing enough, that physically. They're not doing enough. They really want to be a part of this, but they're hindered by maybe a big family, money, etc. They can't travel. They can't be active. They feel like they can't contribute. And I really just want to say to everyone out there, and I know Laurie can agree, when she spoke of her dream, she was leaving her body during via astral travel. A Russian scientist has captured this on film. Um, and Stanford University just proved it. So um, that's when we have to remember when before you go to sleep, if you can't meditate, because sleeping is also a form of meditation in a sense,
State of consciousness.
an altered state of consciousness. So when you leave your body, you do have this cord attached, so to speak, and so you know, a lot of people will describe sleep paralysis when they come back into their body. They feel numb. They're really scared. Some people think they're being held down by an entity, etc. But I really want to say, remember, guys, that you are really doing enough. Just raising your consciousness and your vibration. Please don't be or get down on yourself because you haven't reached your goals and your dreams yet. I have this dream of world ascension back in 2012, World Ascension Conference. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. I traveled to Hawaii and tried to really get it off the ground, and just it wasn't time. And then boom, all of a sudden, about a month ago, it just took off. And with co-founder Laura Eisenhower, the great granddaughter of our former president, and Dolly, Indigo Star, and it's just for 4 years I sat there. That was my dream, and I was like, okay, whatever. Is it going to happen or is it not? And I was sleeping the entire month of April, and I'm like, no, I need to be writing my book. I wasn't even thinking about World Ascension Conference. I was like, of course, the goal was always in the back of my mind, my subconscious. Um, but yeah, I was sleeping 16 hours a day when my daughter would go to sleep, and I was like, no, I need to be doing something. I need to. What is going on? And my guide said, you're experiencing DNA activation, and we are preparing you for something huge. And I was like, what? Something huge? Okay, whatever you say, I'll take it and I'll listen. And this went on for a month of sleeping, and literally 3 days before World Ascension was birthed, I contacted Laura, she was on board, contacted Dolly, she was on board. Literally in a week and a half, we put together the first conference with you and, a bunch of other people, and then it's totally technical glitch, but whatever, we did what we could. But if someone would have told me, because I said, I have a feeling, it was the end of April, I said, I have a feeling in a few days I'm going to get my energy back. And I did, and boom, like I said, it was born off. It just, it's just taken off. And that's the thing, guys. There's divine timing for everything, so please don't get down on yourself because you feel like you're not doing enough, because I can tell you, if you set your intention before you go to sleep at night, albeit asking the heavenly archangels to guide you safely through your astral travels, to view certain Akashic records, to do certain things, or just to provide you with the tools, simply that you need, that you are.
Type of action instead of not.
Right, yeah. Remember that spiritual action is just as effective as physical action. Um, because, for example, Lori and I wouldn't be here bringing this message to you today, and we're just only vessels. We don't claim to be anything. We're just a vessel for Source. So we wouldn't be bringing this message today, or be able to be a vessel, if I wouldn't have just dreamt World Ascension Conference up and put that in my mind's eye, my goal 4 years ago. Literally 4 years ago. Actually, yeah, almost 4 years ago. It'll be 4 years in October. So
Timing is everything, and listen, for people, just practice meditation. Buddha said, if you're very, very, very busy, you should meditate for an hour. Otherwise, meditate for 20 minutes a day.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty funny, because he's saying if you find yourself that busy, then there's something wrong there. Meditate for an hour and find out why you have to have so many external sources.
Right. Exactly.
they are even measurable in specific energy. They measure them in what we call herbs. So words and thoughts have power, and it's very important that we have some type of control over our thoughts. I'm telling you, if you don't want to control your mind, somebody else will want to control it for
There
you.
you go. Thank you, Laurie. That is so true. You make sure, it's just like I'm holding this pen in my hand, how synchronistic. Don't let somebody write your book for you. Because life is a story, and that's your story, and you take that pen in your hand and you grab a hold of it, and you don't let anybody else write it for you. Don't allow your peers, if there's a day when you feel just like being alone and crying because you're hurt for some reason, maybe by any kind of relationship, don't go shopping to cure that or hide those tears. Don't call your friend and say, "Hey, I really need someone here right now." Now, unless it's like a suicide, something serious. Um, but don't, yeah, but we must be careful, like you said earlier, Lori, not to, you know, to be careful. I wrote this poem when I was 16, and a short line out of it, it was called, the title was "What is Love?" And I said, "Is love so much hatred for oneself that we feel like we have to fill ourselves to the brim with another?"
Right.
So we really need to check that. What humans, are you experiencing love, or are you experiencing unconditional love? Because unconditional love comes from the true Christ consciousness source, and within. That's where you have to start first. That's just my opinion. Like I said, not a guru, but
You can't give to somebody what you don't have. Okay.
precisely.
So if you don't have that, a higher love and the mindset to help the other people around you over your own self, that doesn't mean you don't take care of your own needs, but you have to honor other people's desires in life. We learn to work together. But if you don't have that in you, you can't give it to somebody else. And so your relationships are going to have that solid foundation that's necessary. Basically, you're building it on a house of cards. And that's just whether it's within yourself or your inner child. If your inner child isn't secure, then all of your relationships are going to be insecure. So, you can go back, do a little bit of work, get things settled,
Precisely.
here to rescue, whatever you need to do. But you're right, all emotions, if they exist, are legitimate. Therefore, they need to be validated, but you want to own them, face them, and then listen.
Yeah.
Feelings come and go. They won't last forever. You're not going to stay like that forever. You're going to move through it. So you might as well just go with it. Allow yourself to move through it, and then you'll begin to see that you are in control of it.
Precisely.
Purging, listen, the mind and body, the body holds emotional energy. I did a lot of work earlier in my career with rape victims. Um, I ended up getting quite a lot of young women and older women who had experienced such sexual trauma. And just in them speaking, even prior to being regressed or hypnotized, they would start to feel pain in the body, near the knees when they're trying to hold their legs together. They would be stiff and tight in the neck and shoulders and so forth. The body's beginning to bring up the emotion. And so on a molecular level, we are holding on to some of these emotions. It's very important that we do a bit of a cleansing of the mind and body, sort of reboot ourselves, much like a computer,
right,
and start, recalibrating or activating specific DNAs and growing. It's okay, we're all in it together. Nobody's alone. And even though sometimes people may feel abandoned, I know when I work with experiencers, one of the common things is they just feel like they don't fit in.
Yeah, that's how I felt, growing up as a child. As I know, I was involved in my lab, and like, etc. So it does come with that, and I and I had to find it myself. I mean, thankfully there was YouTube, where I could watch David Wilcock, and back in 2011, 2012, David Wilcock and Laura Eisenhower. And for some reason, out of anyone, I resonated with her so much. I guess because of the Mars situation and
Right.
etc. And you feel like that, but eventually you get to this point of you feel abandoned, and then a lot of these people, they try to blame it on their parents or something when their parents, their parents were caught up in the system as well, just trying to make a living and support their children. They were just trying to support their children financially, and that's what I kind of felt when it was like, oh, my parents don't love me. Really, Lindsay? Are you kidding? Kind of thing. Like that's really, and it wasn't that. It was things that I hadn't faced, memories that I had not recalled because I wasn't open to certain things. And I did it all by myself, but eventually I lost a lot of friends on, in the physical and on Facebook because, I mean, I never had a huge group of friends because I was very selective on who I would share my light with. And I guess my light kind of overpowered everything, especially when I would get to drinking and to numb, like,
It's not uncommon for people going through the transitional time to turn to drugs or alcohol. We see it all the time until they begin to recover.
right, exactly. And when I finally recovered, I can't tell you like how it felt to be able to like, and it really wasn't like, I mean, it was just kind of all of a sudden like, oh wow, like I don't have to drink a beer anymore. Like I can actually drink 6 or 7 beers and totally be fine, sounding like I am now, and just stop drinking. It's because that's what I go back to. Please, people, be in control of the substance. Don't let it control you. I've been there. I'm not saying that sometimes, occasionally, I don't get a little drunky, but I mean, I'm sitting here at home, and that's fine. I'm protected. I'm fine.
Six, 6 or 7 years, I wouldn't be able to make it up.
Well, I feel like it's gonna probably be that way for me soon. 6 or 7 beers is about it for me, honestly. That's as much as I can handle. So, but that's the thing. Just please be in control. Be conscious, people. Be conscious of especially what Laurie spoke about earlier. When you are, be careful what you give your emotions to. Because when you do that, when you're giving your emotions away and your belief systems and etc., you're making these agreements. And agreements are serious shit, people. Sorry, excuse my French, but it's serious. When you're giving your emotions away to a person, a material thing, and etc., you're making a soul agreement, and be careful what you fall into. That's why we here at World Ascension Conference always encourage to please do your own research. If something doesn't feel right to you, don't go with it, because we have to get back to using very heavenly and heavenly wisdom and discernment, in my opinion, with a lot of these.
If anyone out there actually has a question, maybe they can email World Ascension and
Exactly.
put it to everybody and maybe, be able to help some people out, providing additional insight. Because
Exactly.
it's a struggle, but just know we are spiritual warriors. And the one thing that I've learned is you should never underestimate the human spirit.
Yes.
We are quite amazing and highly resilient and capable of so much more than most people realize.
Right. Oh
And
yeah.
it really is a loving thing. I mean, it is really all about that. And when you can feel that love and operate from that place, you do always feel safe and confident.
Yeah.
And it does help the unfolding process. You get to help as many people around you as possible.
Yeah,
I
and
think
yeah, exactly.
all kinds of people awakening from all different walks of life, people you would have never thought would even contemplate such things are now opening their minds to higher thinking, to different spirituality. They're seeing that their own thoughts are somewhat incorrect, like you were saying, our education is very limited. Our geography, our maps are incorrect, our history is slanted. So this is for a reason, but none of these things actually help promote a healthy human. You can't really allow a person to be healthy if you're feeding them untruth. What you feed grows. So wherever you place your energy, whatever you spend too much time thinking on, that's what grows. That's what
Exactly.
manifests.
Exactly. Be careful of your thoughts, you know? Yeah, we definitely,
Time with this. They're in their phones, they're
right.
walking down the street, their faces are in their phones. They can't be alone for 5 minutes.
Yep.
They need to check to see if they got an
Text.
email or a text message or a PM or an IM.
Yeah, I'm actually, yeah, and that's the thing, I try to get to my PMs as much as possible, when I can. I'm inundated with friend requests, and I try to be very open-minded, as I don't want to reject anyone. But at the same time, you can also follow me. I can't allow anyone to just message me all the time, as I do. As we do work and we do have a family life. But like Laurie said, you can visit our website, www.worldascensionconference.com, and there you will see, if you kind of scroll down, um, a little button that says contact us, or you can actually, we have a comment section that you can leave and reply certain things, whatever. So it's very easy to get into contact with us. We also have a Facebook page as well, and you can press like while you're actually on our website. And Lori is actually going to be doing an amazing spiritual, was it the Feminine Goddess Retreat,
Yeah,
coming up the end of August, correct?
the end of this month. It's
Oh,
July
yeah.
29th.
Okay. Yeah, I meant the end of July. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
Remember, we were talking earlier about in this line of work, you don't know what day is going to happen. You don't know who's going to cancel an interview. You're talking with people across the world, and they're like, your Friday or my Friday? And I'm like, oh gosh, my Friday. Like, is it really
yeah.
another day somewhere? you know? So things run together. But I did mean at the end of July, you're going to be hosting an amazing um, spiritual retreat for women, and with Holly Cook and Laura Eisenhower. And it's going to be amazing, guys. Like, women out there, you do not want to miss this. Like,
We still have a few spaces available, and it is July 29th to the 31st. So it's out in Mariposa near Yosemite. It's on a place called the Shooting Star Sanctuary. It's 70 acres of wilderness. There is a medicine wheel, a loudness. At night, we'll be doing a little astronomy around a bonfire, and we'll begin our mornings with some goddess yoga, where we'll connect our divine feminine energy to the body, to the Gaia energy as well, all promoting self development, self empowerment, and moving the mind from fear into freedom. And
precisely. And yeah, yeah. And actually, I spoke with Holly, and I don't think she's seen the message yet, but she had asked about putting the World Ascension Conference website link or whatever onto the Goddess Retreat,
yeah,
and that's what we were going to offer you guys as well. So once Dolly goes back to our graphic designer's place over in the UK, Lori, we will, guys and listeners and viewers, we will have that link up for the Goddess Retreat on our website, and etc. So, Lori, Holly, and Laura, and World Ascension Conference, we're all doing some amazing things, but we're not claiming any of it. I mean, we are, but we aren't. We're just vessels. We're just trying to bring you, everything straight from
we're
source,
sharing.
from spirit.
Yeah, we're just sharing is what we're doing. We're
Exactly.
sharing what we know and what we're learning, and in the process, we're empowering our women, our sisters our mothers, our daughters, and really allowing us to be united as this is the time for.
Right. Well, we're raising up the next 7 generations.
Right.
You know, that's what we're doing. We don't have,
you know, I'm a grandmother.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know. I mean, I do know because I know you, but you don't look like a grandmother. So, you know, and I'm just, you know, I hear people say, "Oh, Lindsey, well, you've had so many technical glitches and this and that. Maybe you should just do a new line of something. Maybe you should do a new line of work." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, really? No, the technical glitches." Exactly. It's just something we're going through right now. We're new. It's something that's being really tested. Um, because, like I said, we're not a clique. We don't label ourselves as anything. We're just here to share this experience with you guys. You know, we're going through, me and Laurie and just everybody out there. You know, we're human too. We're going through this process as well, just like all of you guys are. So we're always here. Just feel free to you know, email. And Laurie, what is your before we go, I want to, in the chat, I want to open up a this chat over here, and I'm gonna type in your, and I'll also add it to the YouTube video. And if someone wants to get into contact with you, what would you like, your email? You can type your email right in there, or the website. Yeah, or the website, and we will include your website on this YouTube. That I'll create a link to your website on this YouTube video that we're going to upload. I'm going to upload the unedited version, this one right here. I'm going to upload this one unedited, and then we also have, like, we've got 2 channels, just in case anybody misses anything. Gotta always have a backup. And then Dolly will actually be editing this video tomorrow with, like, this introduction thing. So, yeah, you know, I'm just, there it is right there, trueyouhypnotherapy.com. And
for the retreat is divinefeminineretreats.com. I'll check that out and get it to you.
Yeah, well, yeah, just do that. Just send me a text, and I'll add it, and I'll add it to that. And we're gonna sign off now. So yeah, it's just been amazing, Laurie. I can't wait to have you on again. It's just so nice sharing, and I might just, like, pop up out of the woods with Sasquatch or something while you guys are on your retreat. Like, hi guys, I'm here. Yeah. Like, I'm like,
acres under the stars with Laura and Holly doing shamanic journeying. We're doing empowerment workshops. Laura doing astrology and also some Ascension. So
Can Sasquatch join in? I'm just wondering, since he might have to, like, get me in. He might have to be my bodyguard across the country.
Cause it's also women only.
Ah. Oh well. I'll just have to ride on the back of a ferry or something. All right, yeah. I get pretty goofy here sometimes, guys, and I can't stop laughing because I'm really getting this mental image. And then Holly just, and then Laurie, sorry, and then Laurie just said Sasquatch wasn't invited.
Well, you know, we have to have personal boundaries, Lindsey.
I know. Oh, that was great. All right, Laurie, I love you so much. Thank you for being here with World Ascension Conference. And like I said, I cannot wait to speak again and etc. But blessings out there from your host, Lindsey Elocin Hooper. And like I said, thank you again, Laurie.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.